All right, we are back. As we've been learning about our speakers that are coming to WOW, I'm really excited to have somebody who is part of the actual overall board and the overall ABC. And you may know her from behind the scenes as a person who's doing the new and improved social media. The other speakers, I've been singing your praises, Cathy, about how able to reach out and go ahead and start reaching out because you've made everybody Instagram profiles known. So it's easy to get a hold of the speakers and talk about. So I appreciate all that you're doing on social media. You're helping me spread the history and the story of ABC and why they should attend for WOW and the content that you're putting out. So kudos to you for taking on that role and so much more. I'm so excited to chat with you this morning.
We're definitely trying. So,
hey, you know what? As Emily shared with us a while ago, we can't be afraid of social media. We just have to embrace it at whatever level we are, whatever stage we are. And she's going to bring such a new voice to talking about and new energy about social media. And she does in a way that even people in their 60s like me can understand. So again, the education chairs and the education committee has done an amazing job bringing a vast majority and just a whole array of speakers that are going to be hitting on different topics and senses and learning capabilities. And I'm super excited to be part of it. So talking about education, why this topic, Cathy? Why do you feel that unlocking efficiency to become your own virtual assistant? Why is that an important topic for you to share, especially at this stage of your career? Why is it important to you to share with attendees?
Well, first of all, one of the things is I remember years ago, and my prior background to even getting involved with the wedding industry was as a school teacher. And I remember they told you your first year as a school teacher was going to be your hardest, and then it was going to get easier and easier every year. And I never found that. And I think I see the same thing in business and as entrepreneurs and small business owners. More and more gets added to our plate all the time. And we're so busy trying to juggle balls. And then you add in things like family and other responsibilities that way. And sometimes we're lucky to even still be standing. So especially, and I'm sure Emily talked about with social media and the fact that it's constantly changing. That's one of the things I really look at is how do we share information that's going to help people? And in particular, right now, with I'm going to say the chaos that is going around in life all the time, we're looking for things that are going to make it easier. How do we get the job done faster, but still efficiently and quality job done? And that's, I find, where AI comes into play big time. And my phrase I even like to use is it can do 80% of the heavy lifting. It still leaves 20% to us. That's our responsibility to refine it, to make sure it's actually correct and things that way. But I'm not sure we can survive in today's day and age without it and still stay sane.
Well, and I think for the majority of the people that came into the wedding industry and were shocked within their first wedding that it wasn't all rainbows and, unicorns. After that first client says yes, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to go to work now. Oh, I got paid for it, but now I actually do something. I think that, my philosophy is, if you're doing what you love, it should bring you profit, purpose, and joy, right? So time freedom and the ability to do what you want to do is just as important to me. And it has been my whole career, not just because I'm in my 60s now, that I wanted to have the time to do and explore and be with who I wanted to be with. And that was important to me is the bank account. And there's no way to do that if you don't embrace new technology. I mean, some of us didn't start with a website. We had to tackle that. Some of us are starting only with social media. We bypassed the website altogether. So now we have things that can help us get to what we want to do after the event. But we have to communicate with our clients and they have to understand that we are being hired for our expertise, not about the greatest emails that we write. They're hiring us for how we can execute on the day and bring their vision to life, not by how many social media posts we can do privately. So having that virtual assistant is necessary. And do you feel that at any stage, do you feel if you start now and you're early in your career to start building your team of virtual assistants or with AI, you will have a longer, more prosperous career if you start now embracing technology?
Almost definitely. If you just a minute, as a small business owner and entrepreneur, you're trying to do it all. But the fact is you're going to burn out. And even like I know for myself, I do the wedding stuff, but I also do a lot of social media management. And I had this grandiose idea that as I started the social media management, man, I could travel the world. I could be one of those people that takes pictures like by the pool and the ocean and say, this is my office for the day and stuff.
Yep.
But even with a small number of clients, I found I was sitting there all of a sudden doing 16-hour days trying to create content and material for them. And it was like, wait a second here, this is more. So I really had to start looking into ways that could save time. And as you talked about that time freedom and stuff, we always are trying to, we hear that phrase, work-life balance. And I think I've come to the conclusion it doesn't really exist. Like it's just
we have to have harmony. It's harmony.
Yes. Yeah, but it's still, you've got to find ways to make that better and utilizing that. And sometimes even as wedding professionals, we always talk about the importance of using professional vendors, yet that isn't always available in our pocketbook. But I know using, and it's not just ChatGPT, but sometimes different forms of AI. For example, they can help me write marketing copy for my website and things that way. So, and I'm using different expertise of different people to help build that in and stuff. And I can usually do that for, in an ideal world, it'd be wonderful to hire professionals in every area, but that isn't always in our budgets. So this is the next best thing. And it does sometimes often a better job than what we would do on our own.
Well, and I think clients appreciate prompt emails, prompt responses. And we all hear that, clients ghost us, but then we end up ghosting each other in the industry because we're so busy. And, that busy, I also believe firmly that you find time for the things that are important to you. But if you're a business owner, especially in the peak seasons, whatever market you're in the wedding industry, you have to put your family and everything else on the back burner while you are serving your clients. But I think the clients appreciate, if you are sending an AI generated email, I think they're going to be to the point eventually, if not now. I don't really care who wrote it. I'm just glad you responded with an answer.
Yeah. Well, and that brings in some of the automation procedures that can make our lives easier. I know even with ChatGPT, I learned this actually from Christina Stubblefield, but it doesn't happen often, but when you have to write that, I'm going to say that difficult or challenging email, or that it comes off and you know that you're really angry, to be able to kind of have it go back and say, rewrite this email with a more professional tone and stuff like this, and sort of eliminate some of those things. And even then, it's a starting place. It kind of does that first leap for you and gives you, I keep calling it breathing room and stuff like this. Like, it helps make that easier. Whereas if I had to do that from scratch, that would just take me so much longer. So so it's finding ways to use it smartly.
So we're going to shift a little bit. I want you to share your experiences by being part of ABC. And if somebody is, again, starting out or been around for a while, St. Louis is an easy middle of the United States, easy to get to. Why should, if you have not attended before and you're thinking about it, why should now listening to you from your heart, your passion, and your drive, why should they click, buy a ticket, and have their butts in the seat? What all will they gain from it? I know you can't list it all, but from your experiences, why is being present in real life around people going to be so much more valuable, not just from the speakers, but from the aha moments they meet? But why should they be attending St. Louis and all the work Erin and her team have done? Why is this year the year to show up?
As someone in the wedding industry, you need to, if you want to actually be a viable player in it, you need to continue to invest in yourself and you need to invest in your business. And to me, this is one of the best ways to do that. Some people know I'm up in Canada. So even when I joined ABC initially many, many years ago, I remember I used to get invited to the local meetings. I live in Calgary, Alberta. They were in Niagara Falls. That's only a 4-hour plane ride. Sorry, I can't do that. Yeah. So for me, when I started going to conference, and I checked it before I got on this call today, was 2010. And that was the main thing that I chose to do each year to get me in connection with the wedding community. When we're there, we're getting to see trends and some of the things that way. But it was enrichment for me. It was education from hearing the different speakers, that opportunity to just sit there. And like sometimes I sit there, I feel like I should lock myself in a hotel room for the next couple of days after the conference, just to kind of take all those ideas and information and start putting them into action. And that, but it's a way to, I'm going to say, renew your energies, because after wedding season, a lot of us are burnt out. So
Right.
it kind of, and even then, you're almost, I find, dragging your butt to conference because you maybe just finished an event and stuff. But the phrase I use is it reignites you. It gets you excited again about what's to come. And as I said, it gives you often some direction of what's coming so that you can actually be on the ground and ahead of that before some of the colleagues in your own area. And that's, as I said, that alone can be so valuable for you and your business.
Well, and you may not know right now why having a conversation with somebody may affect your business one day, 1 week, 1 month later. But the things that conference in the hallways and all the things that, like I said, all the other experiences that Erin and her committee have come up with, aside from the education committee, you all have set up ways for people to have some downtime, to be excited if they need to be, to have different groups that they need to be. You make it, oh, I can meet with my chapters, and you have the local people. So you're going to be able to put a name to the face and a face to the name to people you might not have met. And so when you're amongst those people that are struggling the way you're struggling, they can also celebrate your celebration, and you're going to learn things from different markets that will not work in your market. And it's not because you don't have the mindset to make it work. It's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't exist. It's not what your market does. But you can also be that igniter, that instigator that might want to break a trend. And I think it just gives you that boost of, you know what, I came off a really crappy year, or I came off a really great year. I'm ready for what's coming next. And you're with a group of people that understand this is a hard business. This is an emotional business. This is an emotional industry. And we all have success at different levels at different times. And it's okay. And we're here to pick each other up and do everything differently, but also together, collectively.
Exactly. And the things that Erin is implementing and the conference team this year, like there is an actual implementation session. So for people who want to get started right away and dig in, that's there, or to find accountability partners, people who are going to help you stay on track. I love the idea as well. Like it's fantastic. And Bobbi, we got to hear you speak at conference last year, and the information that's presented is amazing. And as I said, for me, it lights my mind on fire. Like I just start thinking of the possibilities. But now to also have a speaker's corner where people can go back and actually have a moment to talk with the speakers and ask them that question that they may not have been able to answer in that session, right, or after they've thought about it a bit, now they've got that question that came to mind. Like the accessibility, I think, is what sets this apart than a conference where there's 5,000 or 6,000 people there, and it's just not possible.
Well, and I know the speakers feel that way because we want to be mindful of the other person coming up, and people like me who can rush that along in a polite, professional way to get you off the stage, but still get you excited. And I know that the speakers that, again, that you know, the education committee, Shelby and all of them have created are going to be approachable. And again, you have allowed people to get to know who they are because you're on social media and you're tagging the speakers. So now we get to know, oh, this is their social media. This is how I get a hold of them. And I'm encouraging everybody on these interviews to go ahead and reach out first. So reach out to Cathy. If you've got that VA question, go ahead and put that in a DM and send it to her, because the more information we have as speakers, the more prepared we're coming to kind of know your struggles or where you're at, and we can fine tune our presentations. And on that, Cathy, how can people prepare? How can attendees best prepare to hear your talk, to hear your presentation? What do they need to do? Open mind, open heart, but can they bring anything else with them to be prepared to take all in that you're going to share?
I think one of the best things you can do is start following the speakers now on social media. see what they're saying, see what they're about, and look and follow their information. Okay. First of all, you're going to learn a bunch of stuff probably from them before the conference, because all of these people have been vetted. Okay. The
Right.
education team has worked really hard to make sure that that's happening and stuff. And I know even by following some of you, like, and you know, same thing. I'll see something of yours and I'm like, this is really good, and stuff, to try and share it on ABC's platforms as well.
Right.
And stuff. So as I said, making that effort to, and once again, our time to scroll is very limited, but figure out who you're following and what you can get from them ahead of time, I think is really important. We're releasing, as I said, what their different topics are. These interviews will definitely help as well. But remind yourself that each one of these people is a specialist in their area and were chosen for a reason. So, as I said, what are the, and some people are, they might be building their business on destination weddings. So that might be where their main focus is. But at the same time, as you said, keep your heart open and your mind open, because even if your focus is destination weddings, you still have to market your business.
Yep.
And that's where someone like Emily in that, or even what I'm talking about, is probably going to help you out a bit. So
coming to your session, what can I do to get better prepared to hear you and be ready to take your information? Anything I need to do, any ideas I need to bring, any notes I need to bring, what do I need to bring to go, okay, I got Cathy, she's going to help me unlock my efficiencies. These are the things I'm doing. Make sure they know what they're doing, and make sure maybe they know where they want to change. What can they do to be prepared?
Yeah. I would even encourage them to think about what are some of the basic tasks that they have to do, and which ones drive them crazy the most, and where could they use some help. So when they're talking about that, because same thing, my session is going to be really hands-on and showing you different ways to do different things. And even I know myself, I keep learning what something like ChatGPT can do. So for example, I haven't used it a lot for, I'm going to say, language translation. But I work with a music festival where we have a lot of parents that don't speak English. Yeah. So we're starting to use that tools to create different instructions for them, like what they have to do to come to the festival and things like that in those languages. Okay. For our wedding people, when we have families that may not be their first language, but we're trying to communicate the itinerary, what if we used something like ChatGPT to help us translate some of that stuff for them? We may have more success with them finding the photography location for the family. Exactly. if we find better ways to communicate. And as I said, learning what people need and what is possible. And ChatGPT and other forms of AI are continuing to grow and develop what they can do and become better and better at it. So,
and we're talking about it. They're hot topics. You might as well come and try to learn to embrace it now and be able to be that on the forefront of it and start, because it's going to change, like we all talk about. But look how many things we've adapted in our businesses from when we started. This is one more thing, but I think this is, like you said, something that really be able to help us be more efficient.
And I think what's really also important is a lot of people, especially sometimes as we get a little bit older, have a block towards technology. And it's like, oh, we can't, and same with social media. We can't do it. And I think you have to stop and take, like, just a minute. Whenever you start something, well, most people, you don't do it so well. Okay. And I like to compare it for wedding people, tying those damn chair ties. Okay. Yep. When you first start, it takes you 20 minutes and the ends are this far apart. And as you do it more and more, you get better and faster. So when I do this presentation, and I know a lot of the other speakers, we're going to make sure there's stuff for you if you're at the beginning and how you start. And then we're going to also try and make sure there's something there for everybody and give you some tools. And once again, I like to also include something so that people have something to refer to afterwards. Right. Because it goes by really fast. But how do you leave that session with actual takeaways that you can implement in your business right away without having to do a lot of work to get it going? I love that. So, yeah.
And we're going to wrap it up right there. You heard her. There is something for everybody. So make sure that you're going to be seeing us in St. Louis. Make sure that you're joining. If you're on the fence, reach out to Cathy, reach out to any of the speakers, reach out to ABC, new management, new leadership, new ownership, all the newness that is with ABC. You're going to find a different vibe. You're going to find that vibe that has been there with caring only. It's extenuated. It's leveled up. So reach out. We want to be there. We want to see you there so that we can inspire and motivate you. So get your tickets. Make sure they're going to be part of it. St. Louis is easy to get to. Come and embrace and enjoy the community that you're passionate about. Cathy, thank you for your time. Thank you for all that you do for ABC.
And definitely,
I can't wait to see you.
I'm on the DM ends for the ABC stuff.
Yes.
So definitely, if you've got questions, reach out. I'm happy to answer them, and we'll get you the information you need so that you can make the best decision for you and your business and join us in St. Louis this year.
I love it. All right, friends. We'll see you next time. See you in St. Louis, everybody. Bye-bye. Thanks, Cathy.